So as we can see on the screen, it says a continuous random variable x has a probability density function. It has a PDF, f given by f of x, that much equals to pi x over 36, then sine pi x over 6, and the x ranges from 0 to 6 and 0 otherwise. What are we finding? We are finding the probability of 0 less than x less than or equal to 3. So p of 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3, this is equivalent by integrating from 0 to 3. We are integrate what? F of x dx. So this p is equivalent by the integral from 0 to 3 pi x over 36. We multiply by sine of pi x over 6 dx. So what next here? Here we can apply integration by substitution. So we are saying let u, this is equivalent to pi by 6x. Let us differentiate. So du will be equals to pi over 6 dx. So then we can make x as dx as a subject. So we can say dx equals to 6 du over pi. So then let us return back to the question. So this is p integral from 0 to 3 pi over 36 x sine pi over 6x, pi over 6x, this one we said u. So we said u, and what is dx? Dx, it is 6 pi du. So then let us simplify. So pi and pi are going home, then 6, and here 36 divided by 6, we are just getting 6. So what next? Here we are getting p equals to the integral from 0 to 3. Then here we are having, what are we having? Yeah, we are having x, then sine of what? Of u, then du. But everything here, here there is 6, x over 6. So, but here, if you remember, we let u equals to pi over 6x. That means the value of x is equivalent by saying 6u over pi, if we make x the subject. So that means we have to substitute this value of x there. So this is equivalent by saying p equals to the integral from 0 to 3. In the place of x, put 6u over pi. But don't forget, it is over 6. There is 6 down. Then sine u du. So here, if we simplify, you will find that 6 and 6 are going home. What are we remaining? We are remaining with 1 over pi. Then the integral from 0 to 3. Then it is u sine u du. So here we have to integrate. Now we have already simplified. So our integral have been simplified to the sense that we can now integrate it easily. And this is the integral of product. And this, how can we integrate this? We can integrate this using IP method. What is IP method? Is integration by parts. So there are so many ways, there are so many techniques of IP method, but one among the techniques that we can integrate such kind of problem, we can use diagonalization method. What is diagonalization method? Diagonalization method is a method which applicable on the integration by parts when one part of the integral can be differentiated to 0 and the other part can be integrated. So if those two conditions meet is where we can apply the diagonalization technique. Or you can even apply that formula of integral by part, which is a integral of u dv equals to uv minus integral of vd how much du. Even this is fine. But the diagonalization technique, we are saying here differentiate and here you just integrate. So in this part of the integrand, if you observe it properly, you will find that u can be differentiated to 0 and sine of u can be integrated. If you differentiate u, you are getting 1. If you differentiate 1, you are getting 0. So this is the condition which will enable you to use the diagonalization technique of the integration by part. So if one part cannot be differentiated to 0, simply you can't use the IP method. So upon that reflection, now I'm integrating. If you integrate sine u, we are getting negative cos u. If you are integrating cos u, you are getting just minus sine u. Because if you differentiate cos, you are getting negative sine. But now, if you integrate sine, you are getting negative cos. And if you are integrating negative cos, you will still get negative sine. So then here, we diagonalize this by that much and this by that much. So the first one will have the sign of positive, and the second one will have the sign of negative. So now this is equivalent by saying u times that much, it is minus u, then cos u. So we are taking u times minus cos u, we multiply with its sign. Its sign is what? Is positive. Then we are taking 1 multiply by this minus sine u. Then we multiply by the sign. The sign is negative. So here we are getting plus sine u. But here we are not adding arbitrary constant. What are we putting? We are putting the what? The limits. So, but the limits are not of u. The limits are of x. So if that is the case, what are we doing? We are doing by now return back the value of u. What is the value of u? The value of u is pi by 6x. So it is minus pi by 6, then x, then cosine pi by 6, then x, then plus sine pi by 6, then what? Then x. But the whole quantity, we are substituting the value from 0 to 3. But don't forget, outside here, we have 1 by pi. So this 1 by pi is here outside. So then now we are starting by substituting 3. So if we put 3 here, we will be having 1 by pi, then here by 2. It is pi by how much? It is pi by 2, not pi by 3. Okay. So then this quantity, we will subtract. Now we substitute 0. So if we put here 0, technically the whole thing will be 0, right? And here, if we put here 0, we get sign of 0. So what is sign of 0? The sign of 0 is also what? What is the sign of 0? We have a calculator here. Sign of 0, we know for sure sign of 0 is also 0. So if we put 0, it means the whole quantity is how much? Is 0. So upon that reflection, we have sine of 90. Here we have sine of 90. We have cosine of 90. What is cosine of 90? Cosine of 90 is 0. This one, cosine of 90 is 0. And here we have sine of 90. What is sine of 90 is 1. What is 0 plus 1 is 1. What is 1 times 1 by pi? It is 1 by pi. So technically this 1 by pi is the final answer. So the value of the probability, it is 1 by pi. 1 by pi is equivalent to what? Now let us plug the value of 1 by pi. So 1 we divide by pi. What is pi? Oh my god. Pi, it is 3.14, isn't it? So the answer, it is equivalent by saying 0.3, 0.3 how much? 0.318. 0.318. So this is the value of the probability, 0.318, and that is the what? And that is the answer. So this is how you are supposed to do this kind of question. So until next time, happy learning.